Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. NAOYA INOUE stops TJ Doheny, I think is how you pronounce it. Irish fella based in Australia. Stops him in 7 rounds. He's actually at the start of the 7th round. And this fight had a very strange ending because at the end of the 6th, Doheny was trapped in a corner and was shipping some punishment to the body, nearly all of it to the body. But of course, any time Inoue went upstairs, the headshots, they weren't exactly easy to take either. And he looked really sort of shaken and like there'd been an awful lot of miles added to the clock just from that little cameo at the end of the 6th. And then in the 7th, Inoue immediately went after him, went to the body, trapped him in a corner and whacked him to the body again. And Doheny moved out of the corner and then indicated to the referee that something had happened to his back. I don't know whether he slipped a disc or his muscle snapped or something had happened, a nerve trapped or something. I've had a trapped nerve in my back, and believe me, it's unbearably painful. I don't know whether it was that, of course, but whatever the case, the referee just went, "Yeah, that's it, that's your lot." And it was a kind of very anticlimactic ending to a fight that was, to start with, was really quite curious because Doheny came out and he was feinting, and he is quite a crafty fighter, and he's a veteran as well. He is a former world title holder himself, and he was, doing lots of feints, moving around, trying to look for little counters. And Inoue was in no hurry. Inoue was taking his time himself, just sort of waiting, and not much happened in the 1st round. 2nd and 3rd round, this, quote unquote success, if you like, for Doheny continued. And bear in mind, this is a guy who's 37 years old, very much a veteran, was given no chance to beat Inoue. But sure enough, there he is, making him think. And Inoue did take a few rounds to get his skates on, to start moving, to let his hands go. By the 4th, he started to go through the gears, and then there was really only one winner. And when he steps in, Inoue, and fires those backhands, I mean, they are incredibly hurtful punches. And he's so intelligent. I think from the 4th round onwards, that's when he concentrated on the power, on the body, power to the body, I should say. And clearly, Doheny did not like it. Why would he? He was still hanging on in there. He was still trying to do his thing, still firing back. But you got the feeling that the tide had suddenly turned. And certainly by the 5th, Inoue was completely in charge. The 6th was a bad round for Doheny. It was, the writing was really on the wall. And then you had that sort of weird sort of ending, strange ending. I don't think he was faking it. Oh, you'll get some bloody idiots who'll say, "Oh, the Irishman quit." And well, in a sense, he did quit. He just couldn't continue. And he saw him being helped back to the dressing room. 2 guys were helping him back. I think it was a legitimate injury. At 37, if you're talking, super bantams, that's quite an advanced age for anyone who isn't a heavyweight. Even then, you can argue it's quite an advanced age for a heavyweight. But this is the first time that Doheny's been stopped as well. So, yeah, it was a good performance by Inoue. I mean, very sort of pedestrian in some respects. Tim Bradley said after the fight that he felt Inoue was trying out new things, being a bit more cautious. And of course, if you think of his last fight against Lewis Neary, he got floored in the 1st round. He was very cavalier, came out very, very aggressively and ended up getting floored. So maybe he thought, Doheny's got some power, he's got some pop to his punches, so maybe I should be a little bit cautious. And it paid off. Doheny lasted a lot longer than I thought he would. I thought he'd be out there in maybe 4 rounds. But he made it to the start of the 7th, so I suppose, hey, it's Inoue, isn't it? But Inoue is I think wisely, is in no hurry to jump up to featherweight. And he's letting his body acclimatise to this super bantam poundage. And there still isn't an ounce of fat on him. He looks like a proper super bantam. You would never guess this guy had once upon a time had been down at light fly. He looks the part. He's broad shoulders. In fact, Doheny, who I think has been at the poundage longer than Inoue, he had the narrower shoulders but the thicker set torso. Inoue, you can tell he'll be able to get up to featherweight in his own time. I mean, he's 31 now. So let the body settle into 122. You know, it's probably close to it now. Maybe have another 1 or 2 defenses. And then in 2025, jump up to featherweight, where they'll all be waiting for him. But you see, Bob Arum, who was there, I mean, unbelievably, Bob Arum at 92 years of age, whatever you think of Bob Arum, he flies across the world all the time supporting his fighters. And he was there in Japan, and that's no easy ride for anyone, especially a 92-year-old. And I know he's probably flying first class and everything. He ain't stuffed into some bloody economy seat where they give you enough leg room for, well, if you're an amputee, you might have enough leg room, but if you're my size, you run the risk of deep vein thrombosis. But anyway, Arum did the gig. He did the journey across to Japan, and afterwards in the ring, he said that Inoue, he'd probably give Inoue one more fight in Japan, but then there'll be, as he put it, a celebration in Los Angeles. So they're talking about bringing Inoue over to Los Angeles. Who to face? If it's going to be at 122, I don't know. There are a few faces around, a few viable contenders. But this particular fight did have the air of a guy, you know, I've had a lot of tough fights. I've unified a lot of belts. I've been undisputed twice. I'm going to have an easier gig. And he did have an easier gig because Doheny, although he did show some craftiness and high IQ in there, he wasn't a match for Inoue in any real department. Inoue looked like he didn't really get out of second or third gear. And with Inoue, you feel that if he's given a real test, he'll rise to it as well. You don't think he'll shrink. He doesn't strike me as being a front runner. I mean, we saw that against Doheny, down at Bantam, where Doheny in that first fight, Doheny busted his eye socket and early on, and he carried on fighting. Very, very few fighters can do that. It's extremely dangerous to do it because you can lose the sight in one eye. But Inoue just carried on and ended up flooring Doheny and winning a unanimous decision. And we know what happened in the rematch. Doheny got blown away in 2 rounds. So I'm a massive fan of Inoue. I really am. I think I'm a colossal fan. And was this a highlight performance? No, it wasn't. But then, hey, it takes 2 to tango. It's kind of like the Paul Butler fight, where Butler essentially just ran and ran and ran, and then got trapped on the ropes in the 11th round and knocked out with body punches. Well, is that Inoue's fault? Two guys have won a stand and fight to have a proper boxing match, to have a proper fight. And I think when that happens, you will see Inoue rise into the occasion. Great fighter Inoue. Anyway, what did you think of the fight? Let me know. Of course, thank you for your time. And please, if you're new to the channel and you could subscribe, that would help us a great deal. And also hit the like button as well. I always appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think? Comments below and I'll give them a read. Thank you. Bye for now.